sentence you to life in confinement without parole.
That's f***ing horse shit. You do whatever the f*** you want.
Why are they shutting my mic off?
I'm the federal witness of the United States federal government. I demand some goddamn respect, you. All I did was trespass on property.
Ma'am, you gotta create the community that you want to live in.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Laura Arroyo, State Certified Interpreter and previously sworn.
Good afternoon, Ms. Arroyo. We're completing initial appearances. We have Ms. Alma Guerrero. Her case number is 22MM1041. She's at the jail facility. You'll be doing the interpreting over the intercom system.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Guerrero.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Buenas tardes, señora Guerrero.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Guerrero, you were arrested for an allegation of battery domestic violence related.
Señora Guerrero, usted fue detenida por una acusación de violencia doméstica debido a un acto de agresión física.
I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find probable cause for your initial arrest.
He leído el informe acusatorio y determino que existe suficiente indicios de criminalidad para sustentar el arresto.
¿Puedo hablar?
Can I say something?
All right, let me tell you what I told the other folks this morning.
Permítame decirle lo mismo que le dije a las otras personas que estuvieron aquí esta mañana.
Or this afternoon, excuse me.
Perdón, quise decir esta tarde.
Initial appearances to make a determination as to whether there is probable cause for the arrest that's already happened.
El propósito de la vista de primera instancia es para determinar si existe suficiente indicios de criminalidad para sustentar el arresto que se llevó a cabo.
To talk about the appointment of an attorney if you qualify for one.
Y también para hablar de la designación de un abogado si usted cualifica para ello.
And to discuss conditions of bond that will get you back home while the case is pending.
Y de hablar de las condiciones de la fianza para que usted pueda regresar a su hogar mientras que el caso esté abierto.
I understand that you may disagree with the facts that are alleged in the charging instrument.
Entiendo que puede ser que usted no esté conforme con los hechos que constan en el auto de acusación.
It would be advisable that you talk to an attorney about that disagreement and your trial judge, which is not going to be me.
Y le aconsejo que mejor hable de ello con el abogado suyo en la causa o el juez del juicio, el cual no seré yo.
Whether the case is ultimately prosecuted will be a decision by the state of Florida through their prosecution office.
Si a la larga este caso va a ser enjuiciado, es una determinación que llevará a cabo el Ministerio Público a través de la oficina de la Fiscalía.
My job this afternoon is to just get an attorney on board for you and to talk about a bond.
El propósito para mí hoy es asignarle un abogado, si cualifica para ello, y darle fianza.
I have found probable cause for your arrest.
He determinado que existe indicios de criminalidad para sustentar el arresto.
You do qualify for a bond plus pretrial release conditions.
Usted cualifica para que se le conceda fianza y libertad provisional.
Court is going to set a bond in the amount of $500 plus pretrial release.
Por lo tanto, se fijará la fianza en $500 más libertad provisional.
I understand the alleged victim is also was arrested pursuant to this.
Tengo entendido que la presunta víctima fue arrestado por esto también.
The court is going to order no contact and that you maintain separate residences.
Y se ordena en este juzgado que esté prohibido el contacto usted con la víctima y que no pueda convivir con la misma.
I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you.
Se le designa defensor público para representarle.
Ms. Clark, would you ask your client whether she and the alleged victim cohabitate and who's going to be returning to the home?
Licenciada, ¿le puede usted preguntar a la víctima y la inculpada si conviven juntos y si va a estar regresando a la misma vivienda?
From what I understand, Your Honor, her and the victim both want contact with each other and would like to both be able to return to the home.
Tengo entendido que tanto ella como la víctima desean tener contacto uno con la otra y ambas desean regresar a la vivienda.
That was not the information that I got from pretrial release.
Eso no fue la información que el personal de la libertad vigilada me dio.
Yes, Your Honor, I did receive that for pretrial release, and I just kind of looked over there and she gave me a nod to say, yes, that was correct.
Así es, eso lo recibí yo también del personal de la libertad vigilada. Le miré a ella y me hizo un gesto de afirmación que así será.
Can you give us one second to verify, Your Honor?
¿Se nos permite un momento para verificar, su señoría?
Okay, Your Honor, so an individual from the public defender's office spoke to the daughter. She said she does want contact with the mom. The mom says she wants contact with her. The residence belongs to both of them, and they would both like to be able to return home.
Sí, su señoría, alguien de los defensores públicos se comunicó con la hija indicó que desea tener contacto con la madre igualmente desea tener el mismo contacto, ambos residen bajo el mismo techo y ambas desean regresar a convivir bajo ese techo.
Thank you.
All right, so this appears to have been an altercation with a family member.
Muy bien, parece ser que este altercado fue con un familiar.
Do you understand that if I allow you to have contact with Ms. Gutierrez, you guys will have to abide by the rules of the house?
Usted ha entendido que si permito que usted tenga contacto con la señora Gutiérrez, tendrá que acatarse a las reglas de la vivienda.
I will permit no hostile contact in this case.
En este caso dado, no se permitirá hostilidad en el contacto entre una y la otra.
That means no more screaming matches or physical altercations with Ms. Gutierrez while you're out on bond.
Por lo tanto, eso significa que mientras que usted esté libre bajo fianza, no puede tener ningún tipo de altercado físico con la señora Gutiérrez ni momentos de gritería.
Based on the low risk assessment, I will permit you to return to the home.
Basado en el asesoramiento de que esto es de bajo riesgo, voy a permitir que usted regrese a la vivienda.
I will delete the condition that you maintain separate residences.
Y elimino la condición donde se requería que usted tuviese que vivir en hogar diferente a la víctima.
No more fights while this is getting sorted out. Do you understand?
Mientras que se arregle esto, por favor, no tengan más peleas. ¿Entendido?
Yes, thank you.
Right. That'll conclude our hearing. Thank you.
Hemos concluido con la audiencia. Gracias.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Clark, does Ms. Gutierrez also need interpretive services?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Arroyo, thanks for your help.
You're welcome, Your Honor. The interpreter will disconnect.
Thanks. State of Florida versus Shalom Gutierrez, 2022 MM 1042.
She's approaching, Your Honor. They have to get her out the cage.
Thanks. Why is she in the cage? Good afternoon, Ms. Gutierrez. Gutierrez, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Ms. Gutierrez, you were arrested based on the same set of circumstances that we just discussed regarding Ms. Guerrero. Do you wish to have, well, Ms. Guerrero has indicated she wishes to have contact with you. I see that there is a low risk assessment result. I find probable cause for your arrest. You're going to be granted the same bond in the amount of $500 plus pretrial release conditions. You're to have no hostile contact with Ms. Guerrero. The court will allow you to return to the family home. No fights until this gets sorted out. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Ms. Clark, can you tell me why is she in the cage?
I couldn't hear you. Could you
Why is she in the cage? She giving corrections a hard time?
Oh, to keep them separated because they're both. Yeah.
I got you. I understand. Okay. All right. So those will be the conditions of your release, and pretrial will come talk to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Malachi Luis.
Could you repeat that, Your Honor?
Malachi, Malachielouisius.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir.
How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. Will you pronounce your last name for me?
Luisius.
Luisius. My apologies on the terrible pronunciation. Excuse me. All right, you are with us based on a warrant. That warrant is in 2012 CF 6361. That was an allegation of a violation of probation. That warrant unfortunately has no bond. You're going to remain on no bond. We'll ship you over to Orange County so you can get in front of the trial judge over there, and I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Joanne Zapier.
Joanne Zapier. Oh, she's in the cage, Your Honor. She's approaching.
Thanks. No problem. Good afternoon, Ms. Zapier.
Good afternoon.
Ms. Zapier, you were with us based on an out-of-county warrant. That out-of-county warrant is out of Orange County. It alleges attempted second-degree murder, attempted battery with a deadly weapon, and battery domestic violence. The warrant contemplates no bond. You're going to remain on no bond until you can get over to Orange County. We'll facilitate that transfer, and I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Marco Colon, 22 MM 1038.
It's approaching.
Thanks. Good afternoon, Mr. Colon.
How you doing, sir?
I'm well, thanks. You were arrested based on an allegation of petty theft. I read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause. Court is going to release you on to the pretrial release program. They'll be talking to you, and I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests while you're here with us.
Is that direct pretrial, Your Honor?
Direct pretrial.
Okay.
Judge, if I may, while on pretrial release, state would just request that he not return to the Walmart.
Yeah. Mr. Colon can't go back to that Walmart until this gets sorted out.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Matthew Cruz. Good afternoon, Mr. Cruz.
How you doing today, sir?
Well, thanks. Mr. Cruz, you were arrested based on an allegation of no motor vehicle registration, attaching a tag not assigned, and misuse of a temporary tag to avoid registration. I find probable cause for those allegations. I'm going to set bond in the amount of $250 as to each count, which is $750 total bond amount. I see that there was a notice to appear on another no registration case in 22 CT 1324. I'm not going to take any action on that case. However, as a condition of your bond, you are not to drive a motor vehicle without a valid tag, registration, proof of insurance. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you get caught again, you're going to stay in there until the judge can deal with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. State of Florida versus David Gerina or Gerina.
Your Honor, does he have a private in the room there?
See nobody here. Let me see if there was a notice of appearance. I think I did get a notice of appearance. We did receive notice late that there was that a private attorney has been retained, so I won't be appointing the Office of the Public Defender. You were arrested based on an allegation of fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with lights and sirens activated. I do find probable cause for that arrest. Case number is 22 CF 1317. You're currently on no bond. I'm going to set a bond in this case in the amount of $7,500. And we'll let your private attorney know about that update. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Daniel Goguin.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, you're here with us on two cases. One is 22 CF 1319. One is a traffic case 22 CT 1431. The allegations are possession of a controlled substance without a valid prescription and operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. Based on your evaluation from pretrial release and your low risk assessment, you qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to release you directly to straight PTR. As a condition of PTR, you are not to possess or consume any illegal substances without a valid prescription, and you are not to operate a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. And I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Roy Isola or Isola.
He's a pro se, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, pronounce your last name for me.
Isola.
Isola? All right, thanks. Mr. Isola, you are here with us based on an allegation of driving with an expired license for more than 6 months, DUI and DUI with damaged property, and leaving the scene of an accident with damage. I've read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause. Are you not requesting the services of the Public Defender's Office?
Not for the pretrial. I'd like to get a private attorney.
Okay, no problem. All right. So, do we have court dates for Mr. Isola? Yes. Okay. We'll announce your court dates, Mr. Isola, so we're on the same page. I'm going to set bonds in your case. Bond in count 1 is going to be set in the amount of $500. I'm sorry, that's 3 separate. They filed it as 3 separate cases. 22 CT 1433 is driving with an expired license. Your bond in that case is set in the amount of $500. I find probable cause. In 22 CT 1434, that's the DUI with property damage. I'm going to set bond in that case in the amount of $2,500. It's to count 3, leaving the scene of an accident with property damage. I find probable cause. Your bond is set in the amount of $1,000. And as to all of those cases, we do have court dates for you. We'll announce those.
Next court date, if still in jail, May 19th, 8:05, or June 6th, if released.
All right. You should be provided with those court dates. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Raheem Kinloch. Good afternoon, Mr. Kinloch. Mr. Kinloch, you were arrested based on a failure to appear. That was a warrant out of Judge Epperson's division. He did assign a bond for you. That bond was set in the amount of $250. At the time of your arrest, there's alleged to have been a new law offense that was possessing cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. As to the possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia, I find probable cause. That case number is 22 CF 1322. Bond as to the possession charge will be set in the amount of $3,500. Bond as to the drug paraphernalia will be set in the amount of $500. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you on the new case. Thanks.
Did you say 3,500?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. And I'll take no action on the case that he's out on bond, which apparently is the no valid driver's license case. State of Florida versus Annabelle Mensing Baptista. Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm okay, thanks for asking. Ma'am, you were arrested based on an allegation of battery.
Yes, sir.
Appears to be domestic violence related. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause. Court will set bond in your case in the amount of $500 plus the following pretrial release conditions. Not to have any contact with the alleged victim, who I guess is your sister, and you're not to have any contact with your grandmother until this gets sorted out. Hold on just a sec. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. I'll hear you out, but I want you to run your concern through your newly appointed attorney before you say anything on the record that admits any of the elements of the crime. Okay?
Hold on one second.
Hold on just a sec. Let me address the conditions of bond. It's
May I ask a question, Your Honor? I'm sorry, I misunderstood something you said. Was it 500 for both counts or 500 per count?
She's got two. All right. It'd be $250 each count for a total bond amount of $500 plus pretrial release conditions. I understand sister wants contact. I'm not so sure about, no, other way around. I think grandma wants contact. Sister, I don't think has weighed in on that. Do you want a minute to talk to her, Ms. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor, please.
No problem.
Thank you, Your Honor, we're ready.
Okay. All right. I see that PTR had contact with Miss Mensing, Annie Mensing, who wanted contact. Has there been any additional contact from Miss Lavigny?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
And there is one additional issue. Her son resides with,
Annie Mensing is my mom.
and that's where the son resides. So if it'd be possible to have a third-party contact just for the son?
Okay, so they've got Annie Mensing listed as grandma. I guess that's incorrect.
Yes, sir. We just moved, my son and I.
Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, Ms. Clark just doesn't want you to say anything that admits any of the allegations and of the information if and when the charges get filed.
And Your Honor, she does not qualify for PTR.
Is that based on the other?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds like there's an Orange County municipal ordinance. I'm not going to take any action on that, but I'm going to delete the pretrial release condition. Your bond's going to be set in the amount of $500 with the following conditions of your bond. You are not to consume any alcohol. Ms. Clark, do you want to ask if Anita lives at the residence?
She does not.
No, she does not. The
Right.
residence where her son lives is with the Annie Mensing who wants contact.
Okay. All right. As to the alleged victim, Annie Mensing, you're to have no hostile contact. You will be permitted to return to the location that your mom lives. As far as Anita is concerned, until this gets sorted out, you're to have no contact, and you are to maintain separate residences with that person. So if she's staying with your mom, you can't be there. You understand?
Understood. Thank you so much.
And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests.
Thank you.
And I'll note for the record, the risk assessment indicates a low to moderate risk. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Omar Lopez.
He was here, Your Honor. He wasn't feeling good. He went back. He agreed to allow me to waive his appearance. I also have a PC argument for his case, a brief one.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. As far as the simple touch or strike with victims 65 years or older, I do not see the age of the victim or an identification that would list the age of the victim in the affidavit itself.
State response.
One moment, Your Honor. I don't see that either, Judge.
All right. All right, the court finds probable cause of battery domestic violence. It is alleged that the victim is the father of the defendant. Court is going to set bond in this case in the following manner. As to count 1, battery domestic violence, bond is going to be set in the amount of $2,500. As to count 2, hinder communication, bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. That will be with pretrial release conditions. As a condition of pretrial release, Mr. Oyola Lopez is not to return to the scene where this occurred, which is the Black Powder Lane address. He is to have no contact whatsoever with his father until this is sorted out. Court will allow him to return one time with law enforcement to get any personal belongings, should that be necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Casey Scott.
She's approaching, Your Honor. She's in the
Thanks. Good afternoon, Ms. Scott.
How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Ms. Scott, you were arrested based on allegations of battery, domestic violence, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for each of those allegations. Bond in count 1 is going to be set in the amount of $1,000. As to count 2 in the amount of $3,500. As to count 3 in the amount of $2,500. That will be a total of $8,000. Is that right? Yeah. What's that? 7,000, excuse me. With the following conditions of bond, you're to have no contact whatsoever with Mr. Day, and you are not to return to the Liberty Inn. Thank you. I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Jeremiah Shelton.
Approaching, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shelton. You have a number of cases with us. One is 22 CF 1097. That case was initiated by warrant. Judge Ashton found probable cause for grand theft of $750 or more, uttering a false check, and use or possession of an ID of another without consent. He granted you bonds in that case. Count 1, the amount of $1,000. Count 2 in the amount of $250, and count 3 in the amount of $150. Apparently, at the time of your arrest, that generated allegations of 3 separate cases. Those cases are 22 CF 325, 1325, 22 CF 1326, and 22 CF 1327. As to 22 CF 1325, the allegations are credit card fraud more than 2 times with charges less than $100. That's a first-degree misdemeanor, and count 2 is possession of a stolen credit card. The court finds probable cause for those allegations in 22 CF 1325. Bond in count 1 set in the amount of $1,000, and to count 2 in the amount of $2,500. As to the second new case, that case being 22 CF 1326, charged with 1 count of credit card fraud more than 2 times less than $100 on a separate card. The court finds probable cause for that. Bond in that count is set in the amount of $1,000. And finally, as to 22 CF 1327, the allegation is burglary of an occupied dwelling unarmed. I do not find probable cause for that arrest based on the charging affidavit. Court is going to ROR you on that count and that case only. So you have bonds on all your cases and an ROR in 22 CF 1327. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, do you want him to have bond with PTR?
Does he qualify for PTR?
Yes, sir.
All right. It is going to be with pretrial release conditions, and those pretrial release conditions is that he's not to have any contact whatsoever with any of the alleged victims. Thanks. State of Florida versus James Capers. Good afternoon, Mr. Capers. Mr. Capers, you were arrested based on an allegation that you committed a new law offense in 22 CF 1328, that allegation being leaving the scene of an accident with injury, and in 22 MM 1045, leaving the scene of an accident with damage to property and resisting an officer without violence. Court received a affidavit in just a moment. The affidavit contained in the resisting an arrest without violence in 22 MM 1045 establishes probable cause for the allegations in both cases. Bond in count 1 in 22 CF 1328 is going to be set in the amount of $2,500. Bond in count 1 in, bond in count 2 in 22 CF 1328 will be set in the amount of $100. Bond in count 1 in 22 MM 1045 will be set in the amount of $100 as previously contemplated. And I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest. Thanks. All right, State of Florida versus Treshawn Cotton.
Your Honor, I had a PC argument for
I'm ready.
this and the other four. As far as the armed burglary of a conveyance.
I'm having a difficult time hearing you, Ms. Clark. Sorry.
Sorry, as far as the armed burglary of a conveyance, according to statute 81, Florida statute 810.02, they would have had to been armed at the time. It says is or becomes armed within the dwelling structure or conveyance. There was no evidence within the affidavit that they were armed within the conveyance.
All right, thank you for that probable cause argument. I read the charging affidavit. As it relates to Mr. Cotton, there's probable cause to believe that he was in possession of recently stolen goods, that being a firearm. That raises an inference as to the burglary, and the victim of the burglary indicated that the firearm was contained within the center console and would have had to have been in the possession at the time of the burglary. As to Mr. Cotton, the court finds that there is probable cause for armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm and petty theft of $100 or more, as Mr. Cotton was in the driver's seat, and that is where the firearm was recovered, and Mr. Cotton was observed making furtive movements at the time of the arrest. The court finds probable cause for armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm. That is a crime punishable by life. It has no bond. He's going to remain on no bond pending a hearing in front of the trial judge. Bond count 1 set in the amount of none. Bond is to count 2 set in the amount of $500. Any bond will come with the conditions of that he have no contact whatsoever with any of the listed victims, he not return to the scene of where the offense occurred, and he have no contact with the co-defendants. I will appoint the office of the public defender to represent Mr. Cotton. Thanks.
Your Honor, one other thing about this and the other related cases, I'm not sure if it makes a difference, but where they're saying that the burglary happened is the 14763 Golden Sunburst Avenue is in Orange County.
All right, sounds like a jurisdictional issue, so I'll leave that to the trial court as to whether the jurisdiction and venue is properly charged. May not be, but as to the allegations, I find probable cause.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What's that?
These are Orange County cases because they were over the 9 arrests.
Okay.
That's correct, Judge.
All right, thanks. So they followed them back into Orange County?
They were arrested in Osceola County and transported to the Osceola County Jail.
Okay. All right. So we'll get the case to the right jurisdiction for prosecution. Mr. Cotton's going to remain on no bond. As to Mr. Duggar, State of Florida versus Reginald Duggar.
And Your Honor, it would be the same PC argument for all individuals involved. Thank you.
State response as to Mr. Duggar's case. Mr. Duggar was in the passenger seat.
Judge, I would ask that you find probable cause for the lesser included offense.
I do find probable cause for burglary of a conveyance and petty theft of $100 or more. I do not find probable cause for the armed burglary portion of this. Mr. Duggar will be entitled to bond. The court will set bond as to the burglary of a conveyance in the amount of $2,500, as to the petty theft in the amount of $500. With the special conditions of bond, he have no contact with any of the alleged victims. He not return to the scene where any of these offenses are alleged to have occurred, and he have no contact with the co-defendants, Mr. Mooch or Mouche, Mr. Turner, and Mr. Cotton. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Florida versus Reginald Mooch or Mouche. Pronounce your last name for me.
Mouche.
Mr. Mouche, you were arrested based on an allegation of armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm and petty theft of $100 or more. I find probable cause for burglary of a conveyance and petty theft of $100 or more. I do not find probable cause for the firearm or the armed portion of the original allegation. Court will appoint the Office of the Public Defender, set bond in count 1 in the amount of $2,500. That's burglary of a conveyance. And count 2 in the amount of $500. As a special condition of bond, you're to have no contact whatsoever with any of the alleged victims. You're not to return to the scene where this is alleged to have occurred, and have no contact with Mr. Turner, with Mr. Cotton, or Mr. Duggar. Thanks.
Your Honor, can you repeat my charges for me?
Yes, of course. It's a burglary of a conveyance and petty theft of $100 or more.
That's what I'm in here for today, right?
That's what you're here for today. Thanks. State of Florida versus Kamarian Turner. Good afternoon, Mr. Turner. Mr. Turner, you're in a similar circumstance as your other co-defendants. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for burglary of a conveyance. I do not find probable cause for the original charge of armed burglary of a conveyance with a firearm. You also have a second count, petty theft of $100 or more. I do find probable cause. As to the burglary of a conveyance, bond will be set in the amount of $2,500 as to count 2 in the amount of $500 with the special conditions of bond, that you have no contact with any of the alleged victims in this case, you not to return to the scene where any of this has alleged to have occurred, and that you have no contact whatsoever with the co-defendants, Mr. Mooch, Mr. Duggar, and Mr. Cotton. I will appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interest. Thanks. State of Florida versus Kathleen Garcia Rodriguez.
She's approaching, Your Honor.
Okay, no contact means no contact from now on, so let's not have a chat while you're on camera, guys. Thanks. Good afternoon, Ms. Garcia Rodriguez.
Good afternoon, sir.
Ms. Garcia Rodriguez, you are here with us based on an allegation of possessing a controlled substance and possessing drug paraphernalia. You qualify for pretrial release. I will release you directly to pretrial release with the following special condition, that you be drug tested for any drugs in your system. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent your interests, and I find probable cause. Ms. Clark, that was the last of the cases I had on my docket. Have any other clients?
No, that's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your help today.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond Court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
All right, it's 9:03 on May 9th, 2022. Okay, I went on the record on this. Is that right still? Not this? Okay, all right. We're on the record. If I could have counsel, please put your parents on record.
Taylor Fleming on behalf of the state. T. George on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
Okay. Sir, please tell me your name.
Belisaire Deriska.
All right, I see this was reset yesterday. Does the state have any new information?
No, Your Honor, state does not.
All right, does either of you know, you guys weren't here yesterday when it was reset?
I believe it was a reset due to PC. I believe the issue was the Berg unoccupied dwelling. I believe it was the crime therein. All right, thank you so much.
So the issue is, he was found in the property.
There's no like surreptitious entry or no damage or no crime therein.
All right. Your office represents him, Ms. George? You were appointed?
Your Honor, so I'd ask that you release him ROR as to the burglary. There was no other crime other than the trespass itself, so I just ask that you only find PC for the trespass.
I do believe that is the current state of the law. At this time, I'll release him ROR on count 1. I'll stay the bond at 500 on count 2 with special conditions. Sir, you cannot return to 6458 Redwood Oaks Drive in Orlando. Do you understand that?
Yes,
You can have no contact with any victim or witness in this case.
yes, ma'am. But I still have property over there, which the officer said once I get released, I can go pick up.
One-time return with law enforcement, Your Honor. I guess he was living.
In someone else's house?
It was not someone else's house, ma'am. It was my home, which I lived over a year, and my children. That was my home with my family.
It says it's vacant in the.
Right, that's not what the probable cause affidavit says.
And it says.
It says it's a vacant residence that they were doing work on, and the owner wished to pursue charges.
May I? If I may?
Okay,
Sir, you
stop.
can say
Stop
anything you
talking.
wish, but everything you say is being recorded and can be used against you later.
It does say he was evicted in March.
So maybe there's something left.
Okay, then I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather his belongings. But that's the only way you can go back, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, stay in touch with your attorney, sir.
Thank
you. Okay, thank you. Ah, thank you.
Is there an offer?
That says normal. Does this have to be on two, now that this is new? I don't know why that would have to be on, right? This is
Yeah, it was an
green.
adjudication 15 days, but adjudication credit time service. Fine.
It's adjudication credit time served.
Who can't hear? All right, we'll try this again. Sir, please tell me your name.
Lindholm, Dennis Lindholm.
Am I supposed to say the case numbers? 22MM3048. You're here charged with trespass on property after warning and resisting an officer without violence. Was the
Yes, Your Honor,
PD
state
appointed?
did convey an offer of an adjudication credit time served, no return to Mr. Lindholm.
All right. I don't think it was, so that's why I didn't see it, so that means they weren't.
Right.
Sir, did you hear the state's offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you interested in accepting that?
Yes, ma'am.
I need you to raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, to help you God? Thank you.
All right, sir, did you have the opportunity to discuss with an attorney the rights you'd be giving up if you enter a plea of guilty or no contest today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for me about those rights?
No, ma'am.
You understand that we'll not be having a jury trial, that if you plead guilty or no contest, I will sentence you today.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're giving up your right to remain silent, your right to testify on your own behalf and call witnesses. You understand you're giving up all those rights.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you further understand if you're on probation anywhere, this plea could violate that probation.
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, did you read this form and is that your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any questions for me about the rights you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
At this time, how do you wish to plead to the charges of trespass on property after warning and resisting an officer without violence?
No contest, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty. Give you credit for the 3 days that you've been in custody. I have to order that you pay court costs, sir. How long will it take you to pay that? It's a little over $300.
I'd have to set up a plan.
I can't put you on a payment plan, but I can give you a year. And then if you go to the clerk of courts, they can put you on a payment plan. All right, do you have any questions for me? All right, good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal in writing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Please tell me your name.
Aisha Baldwin.
Ms. Baldwin, you're here in 22MM 3049, 3050, and 22 CF 5198. Charged with battery, domestic violence, criminal mischief, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Ma'am, do you wish to speak to an attorney about your case? Says cases, you have 3 cases.
Yes, ma'am. I thought I signed that paper already.
You did. Oh, yeah, she signed the affidavit.
All right, how much, I need you to raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have a job, ma'am?
Yes.
How much money do you make?
I don't know how long I'm having because I work for the city of Orlando.
I can't hear you.
Just how much money do you make right now?
Oh, 16 hours.
$16 an hour? Do you have any dependents?
I have 6 kids.
How many?
6.
Oh, 6. All right, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I reviewed the probable cause affidavits in these cases. I do find probable cause. Give me one moment. All right, in the 22 CF 5198, your bond will be $2,500. The other 2, I'll stay your bond at $500 each with special conditions. You can have no contact with any victim or witness in this case. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes, ma'am. So I just have one question.
Your Honor, even though she does not reside there, she left her driver's license and things like that. Could she have a one-time return with law enforcement to gather those belongings from his house?
Yes, I'll allow one-time return with law enforcement. Otherwise, you cannot return to the scene. You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, ma'am. Stay in touch with your attorney. All right. And I don't have a case number there. 22 CF 5221 AO. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent him.
I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
There is probable cause, counselor. I reviewed the affidavit. Mental health.
Just say he's diagnosed with
Sorry, my brain.
schizophrenia in the
Yeah,
affidavit.
a minute to get to mental health.
Your Honor, could you set a bond, could you see if he could qualify for mental health pretrial release and in the alternative set a monetary bond? He has schizophrenia issues. It was mentioned.
I read that, but I thought that violent offenses don't qualify for mental health pretrial release, do they?
I was just about to say, I don't think the child abuse charge will qualify.
Would qualify. Okay.
Right, I don't think it does, because I had the same thought, counselor.
Okay.
When I read the affidavit, but I don't think it qualifies. The bond will be $5,000 on count 1, $5,000 on count 2, no victim contact, no contact with any minor child under the age of 18, no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No.
All right.
Yeah, it was his house.
When they come up, just ask them to say their name. Tell me your name, please, sir.
Robert Ross.
Mr. Ross, you're here in 22 CF 5209 AO, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause here. Would you like to speak to an attorney about your case, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have the money to hire an attorney?
Public defender.
Do you have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
How much money do you make?
About $600 a week.
How much?
Oh, $600 a week.
Do you have any dependents?
Oh, ma'am.
600 a week with no dependents. Do you know if that qualifies? Okay. Sir, I don't believe that you qualify for the assistance of the public defender. So if you want to speak to an attorney, you're going to have to hire an attorney to represent you. Do you understand?
I might not have a job after this.
So what will happen is, when you get released, you'll have a new court date. At that court date, if you did lose your job and you're in a different circumstance and your money situation changes, the judge can reevaluate whether you qualify. So you'll want to come, when you come back to court, talk to the judge about that, okay?
Ma'am, that's only with overtime.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's only with overtime. So it's really like 5 something. I just got.
Did you complete the affidavit? Did he fill out the affidavit? Yeah, okay. I have your affidavit, sir. It still looks to me like you don't qualify. So here's what I need you to do. When you get your paperwork after you're released and you go to that court date, if the situation has changed, you want to readdress it with the judge. You understand? All right, you're here charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I reviewed the affidavit.
Your Honor, when setting his bond, I would just have you take into account, he has a fairly lengthy DV battery history. He currently has an open 22 non-arrest, bat strangulation, assault with a firearm, and bat DV, same victim. As this case, a 2021 bat DV, a 2021 bat DV, 2021 felony, strangulation, assault firearm, burg occupied, and bat DV. 2020 non-arrest bat DV, 2020 non-arrest bat DV. I could continue, however, it's all the same victim and pretty prevalent.
Is that the same victim in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are any of them convictions?
No, Your Honor. She declined to prosecute.
All right, thank you.
Can I speak to you? Your Honor, can I speak to you?
Hold on a second, Mr. Ross. Let me explain something to you. You can say anything you want, but everything you say is being recorded and can be used against you. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I, just as a friend of the court, Your Honor?
Of course.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry.
All right. Mr. Ross, is there anything you'd like to tell the court? I just need you to get closer to the microphone.
As far as my bond, I don't think I could pay more than $500 to get out of here.
All right, thank you, sir. At this time, I'm going to set your bond at $5,000 with special conditions. You can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes, ma'am.
It means you cannot speak to her. You cannot call her on the phone. You cannot send a text message. You cannot contact her using social media. You cannot send a message through friends or family. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You cannot possess a weapon of any kind, a firearm or ammunition. Was this at his house or hers?
Our house.
I believe his, Your Honor.
All right, you cannot be within 1,000 feet of the victim's residence or place of employment. Hold on.
I believe she has listed the same address, though, Your Honor.
Oh, all right, then you must maintain a separate residence. I will allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you cannot coordinate that with the victim. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, sir.
Oh, St. Cloud.
Mr. St. Cloud, you're here in 22 CF 52160, charged with battery, domestic violence, possession of a counterfeit driver's license, and possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. There is probable cause in this case. Sir, do you wish to speak to an attorney about your case?
Yes,
Do you have the money to hire an attorney?
not currently.
Do you have a job?
No.
How do you support yourself?
Through scholarships.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. George, did you wish to be heard on anything?
Just as it pertains to his bond amount, Your Honor, it appears he has no criminal convictions. He has an arrest, but there is no convictions on his history, as well as any failures to appear. So I just ask that you take all of that into consideration when setting the bond.
Our state's only concern is like community ties. I believe he was visiting from Miami.
Yes, thank you. All right, sir, at this time, your bond on count 1 is $1,000, count 2 is $500, count 3 is $500. With special conditions, you have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means? You have to answer out loud.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you cannot coordinate that with the victim. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Even if you don't live here, wherever you live, you cannot live together. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Judge.
Good luck, sir. So then do I do anything here or no? Okay, thank you. Well, Good morning, this is Judge Gibson. Who do I have on the line?
Hi, this is Isabel Rocher, court interpreter.
Has the interpreter been sworn?
I have not.
Can you raise your right hand, please?
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Creole to English, from English to Creole to the best of your ability?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please ask him to tell me his name.
Okay. Monsieur qui Jean Aurélé?
Jean Robert.
Jean Robert.
Sir, you're here in, hold on, case number 22MM3059, charged with battery, domestic violence.
Monsieur Oula Jodia, numéro cas c'est 22 MM 3059 et accusé de violence domestique.
Would you like to speak to an attorney about your case?
Est-ce que vous voulez parler avec un avocat à propos de cas?
Oui.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office. He qualifies per the affidavit.
Juge là à beau défenseur public parce que vous qualifiez pour yo.
Counselor, did you wish to be heard on anything?
Your Honor, he does qualify for pretrial release. I would ask for pretrial release given he has no criminal history.
Si monsieur ou qualifié pour relâche avant procès, avocat a demandé pour relâche avant procès parce que ou pas gain casier judiciaire.
Oui.
Yes.
Let me ask the state your position.
Your Honor,
Demandez l'État gain pour dire.
Your Honor, state would ask for PTR with bond, given the allegations within the affidavit, and we don't have the victim here to testify.
Dit comme victime n'a pas là pour lui témoigner et en plus de ça qui mettait dans attestation, lui demandait pour un bond avec relâche avant procès.
I do believe the statute requires that. Sir, at this time, I'll place you on pretrial release and require that you post a monetary bond. However, I will reduce that amount.
Dit, lui peut le mettre dans relâche avant procès et lui peut réduire quantité d'argent ou besoin de payer pour bond là.
That amount will be $250.
Quantité d'argent c'est $250.
While on pretrial release, you can have no contact with the victim.
Pendant que ou en relâche avant procès ou pas capable gagner aucun contact avec victime là.
Oui.
Yes.
Do you understand what no contact means?
Est-ce que vous comprenez ça, nos contacts la vle di?
Oui, c'est pas parler avec dans téléphone, c'est pas écrire dans Facebook, c'est pas passer côté lié du tout.
Yes, not talk to her on the phone, not talk to her on Facebook, not go see her at all.
Correct.
C'est ça.
You cannot possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition.
Ou pas capable de gagner aucun zam de n'importe quelle qualité, ou pas capable de gagner revolver bien fusil, ou pas capable de gagner balle.
You must maintain a separate residence, and I will allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings.
Ou besoin rester dans un cas qui est différent de victime là, il est capable de on police pour venir avec vous chercher affaire ou en grande fois.
Oui.
Yes.
Any other conditions the state would request?
Est-ce que l'État m'a demandé l'autre condition?
No, Your Honor.
Non, juge.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Bonne chance, monsieur.
I believe that's all we have for the Creole interpreter at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Alan Verger.
Mr. Verger, you're here in 22 CF 5222AO, charged with tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, battery, domestic violence, criminal mischief, and resisting an officer without violence. Thank you. Do you wish to speak to an attorney about your case, sir? I'm sorry?
No.
No, you don't want to talk to an attorney?
The defender?
That's an attorney.
Talk to him now? No, I'm good.
Do you want me to appoint an attorney to represent you?
No, guess not.
I need you to get close to the microphone.
No, I don't.
All right, you're going to represent yourself.
No, I'm not. But so I do.
You're going to hire an attorney.
I do the public defender. I asked for one already.
All right, so you want me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
Yes.
All right, according to the affidavit, you do qualify. Ms. George, I'll appoint your office. Do you wish to be heard on anything?
Your Honor, just ask that you consider his criminal history. He does not have any convictions, 0 failures to appear, and he has community ties. He's been in the area for well over a year.
I reviewed the affidavit. There is probable cause here. All right, at this time, sir, your bond will be $5,000 on count 1, $100 on count 2, $100 on count 3, and $100 on count 4. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim or any witness in this case. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes.
You cannot possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition.
Okay.
You cannot.
What's my time?
Do you two live together?
Yes. What's it?
All right. You can't now. You must maintain a separate residence. I will allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you cannot coordinate that with the victim.
Okay. What's my time served here? Excuse me.
I'm sorry, what?
What's my time served here?
You've been in custody for 2 days.
Oh, am I gonna be in here for any longer than 2 days? I don't got no bond for $5,000.
I'm sorry?
I have no cash, period.
Listen, we have a program that can help you pay the bond because you have no call the number and then.
Okay.
Stay in touch with your attorney, sir. All right, that's 22 MM 191AA. Ms. George, I'm going to appoint your office to represent her.
I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, there is probable cause.
I would ask for a pretrial release. She has no criminal histories. I don't even see an arrest, Your Honor. And per the statute, if the facts warrant and the defendant's history warrants a release on straight pretrial release, you can do that, Your Honor, using your discretion.
What says the state?
Your Honor, state was still asked for bond and PTR, given the victim's not here to testify and the injuries that the victim sustained.
All right, I'll place the defendant on pretrial release and reduce the monetary bond to $250. No victim contact, no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Maintain a separate residence and a one-time return with law enforcement. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Judge.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
My name is Leonard Babulao.
All right, sir, you're here in 22 MM 3056AO, charged with battery, domestic violence. Sir, do you want to talk to an attorney about your case?
Say it again, ma'am, please.
Do you want to talk to an attorney about your case?
I don't have an attorney.
All right. You don't have a job?
No.
How do you support yourself?
I get my Social Security, that's what we pay.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. George, did you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, he does qualify for pretrial release. I would ask for pretrial release in this case.
What says the state?
Your Honor, state has no objection. They've been married for 48 years, and the allegations aren't particularly egregious.
Just want to make sure.
And Mr. Babulal has very limited criminal history, and his last failure to appear was back in 2006. So state has no objection to straight PTR.
All right, sir, I'm going to place you on pretrial release with special conditions. You can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
I'm sorry, I think because he signed it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand what no contact means?
Okay.
You can have no contact with your wife. You cannot speak to her. You cannot call her on the phone. You cannot send a text message or a message through friends or family. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. You can't possess or consume any alcoholic beverages, and you'll be subject to random alcohol screens. You must maintain a separate residence, and I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney. Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, while you're in the courtroom, I need you to look at me or that wall. Don't look at the witnesses. Do you understand? You have to answer out loud.
Yes.
Sorry, thank you. I'm having trouble hearing everyone this morning. Mr. Bishop, you're here in 22 MM 3054AO, charged with battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. Do you wish to have an attorney represent you in this case? You want to represent yourself?
Well, I did sign for a public defender.
That's an attorney. All right, so you want me to appoint them? According to the affidavit, he does qualify. Ms. George, I'll appoint your office to represent him. For the two ladies that I have there in the box, do you wish to testify this morning?
Yes.
Did you say yes?
Yes.
I need you to raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your names for the record.
Kathleen Rosario. Sapphire Rosario.
I can only hear the first one. Let's go one at a time.
Speak louder and clearer. Kathy Ann Rosario.
Thank you.
Sapphire Rosario.
Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to let the prosecutor ask you some questions, but just do exactly what you just did and get really close to the mic so I'm sure I hear you.
Okay. For Miss Kathy Ann, can you please state your relationship to Mr. Bishop?
Yes, he's my boyfriend.
Are you afraid of him?
Yes, I am.
And do you want to have any contact with him?
Nope.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the court?
No.
And Sapphire, can you please state your relationship to Mr. Bishop?
Well, he was like my stepfather to me.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Is that it? And do you want to have any contact with him?
She's speaking to you, baby. You have to look. You have to talk. Yeah, but why do you know?
Do you want to have contact with him?
No.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
And I should have asked, Ms. Georgia, I'm sorry, for each witness, do you have any questions for the witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Thank you, ladies. Is there anything else you want to tell me before I make a decision?
No.
All right, you can stay right there while I'm handling the case until he leaves, and you can leave, unless you don't want to. It's up to you.
Your Honor, I'd just bring your attention that he does have a warrant out of New Jersey for an ag assault with a weapon. Due to being a New Jersey case, I do not know the victim on that case or if it is Ms. Rosario. However, I would bring your attention to that as well as his out-of-state history.
All right, anything from the defense?
That's okay. Your Honor, although he was arrested, I see no convictions out of state or here in Florida, so I just ask that you consider that and the fact that he's been here well over a year when setting the bond amount in this case.
All right, at this time, Mr. Bishop, your bond is $1,000 with special conditions. You can have no contact with any victim or witness in this case. Do you understand what no contact means? Were you two living together? All right, you cannot now. I'll order you maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you cannot coordinate that with the victim. Do you understand? You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Hold on one moment. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for coming. Good luck. Good luck, Mr. Bishop. Stay in touch with your attorney. Please tell me your name.
Jeffrey Henson.
Mr. Henson, you're here in 22 MM 3055AO, charged with battery dating violence. Do you wish to have an attorney represent you in this case?
Yes.
He qualifies for the assistance of the public defender. I'll appoint you, counselor. Did you wish to be heard on anything?
Your Honor, okay. Your Honor, the only thing I would ask is that as long as he stays in contact with his attorney and makes all his court dates, that you do allow him to return to Chicago. That's where he lives, and he is employed full-time there. He's been at the same job for 3 years. So I'd ask that you allow him to return home.
All right, I reviewed the affidavit. There is probable cause here. In fact, the state could file this as a felony. It is not arrested as a felony at this time.
Your Honor, defense has already kind of touched on it. He does have no criminal or no community ties here. He is from Illinois, and he does have a pretty violent arrest and conviction history from out of state. State would just have you take all that into account when setting bond and conditions.
Thank you, sir. Your bond in this case is $1,000 with special conditions. You can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes. You said my bond is $1,000.
It's $1,000 with special conditions. You can have no contact with the victim or any witness in the case. You cannot return to,
I think it's Adventura Hotel.
do you have belongings at that hotel?
Yes.
You can return one time with law enforcement to gather those belongings. You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. And you can't, were you and the victim living together?
Yes.
You cannot now. You must maintain a separate residence. Even if that residence is in Chicago, you cannot live together. You understand that?
Yes.
Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
I don't care if he goes back to Chicago. He just has to come back for his court dates or someone will issue a warrant for his arrest.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, good luck, sir. All right, 22 MM 250 AW. Ms. George, I'm going to appoint your office in this case.
I'll waive the appearance, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Ma'am, which case are you here as a witness? Oh, not Hodge?
I believe it's for the next defendant.
All right. There is probable cause for battery in this case. I'll set the bond at $500, no victim contact, maintain a separate residence, one-time return with law enforcement, no weapons, firearms, or ammunition.
It's Avalon Calamity.
So you're here in 22 MM 249 AW, charged with assault and battery. Would you like me to consider appointing an attorney to represent you?
I don't know. Yes, maybe.
You want to talk to an attorney about your case?
I was gonna go about with it by myself.
You want to represent yourself?
Yeah. You know what? I'll just go with the attorney.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender's office. He does qualify.
Okay.
Ms. George, did you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd ask that you take into consideration the fact that, other than the out on bond DUI he's in pretrial diversion for, he has, no other criminal history at the age of 27. Also, he is employed, and he's been employed for 9 years. If you are inclined to revoke his out on bond, I just ask that you consider revoking and doubling as opposed to holding him at no bond. That way he can continue his employment while the cases are pending. I believe he was in pretrial diversion at the time, Your Honor.
I reviewed the affidavit. There is probable cause. Ma'am, did you wish to testify?
No,
You don't want to say anything to me?
I don't want to press any charges against him.
I need you to get close to the microphone.
I don't wish to press any charges against him.
All right, so that's not really how this works. He's being charged with a crime against the state of Florida. So it's up to the state of Florida whether he's prosecuted or not. But if you want to say anything, then I need you to be sworn in. So raise your right hand to be sworn.
Please solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Alicia Calamdine.
All right, let me see if the prosecutor has some questions for you.
Good morning, Ms. Calamdine. Can you please state your relationship to Mr. Calamdine?
My husband.
And are you afraid of him?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes, but I also would like to know that during his contact with me and my son, he is not going to try to raise his hand and hit me, that's all.
And do you believe drugs or alcohol were involved in this incident?
Pardon?
Do you believe drugs or alcohol were involved?
No.
All right, that's all I have, Your Honor.
Any questions, Ms. George?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am. Is there anything else you want to tell me?
No.
All right, thank you. At this time, sir,
Your Honor, based on her responses, I understand that she said she didn't want to press charges and she's not afraid. However, given her overall demeanor, statements will ask for no contact at this time. Also, the items that were allegedly thrown at Ms. Calamdine, resulting in these charges, were, I believe, a beer bottle and a champagne bottle, and he is out on bond on DUI. State would just like to bring that to your attention.
thank you. All right, sir, at this time, your bond is $500 on count one, $500 on count two. With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You can't possess or consume alcoholic beverages. You'll be subject to random alcohol screens. You must maintain a separate residence, and I'll allow a one-time return with law enforcement to gather your belongings, but you can't coordinate that with the victim. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Give me one moment.
Can someone else?
All right, I see no other conditions in this case. Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Wait, the child was present.
There was a child in
Sir,
detail.
you can have no contact with any minor child under the age of 18. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You must comply with any plan set in place by DCF. And at this time, I'm revoking your bond on your DUI. Stay in touch with your attorney, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. Good luck.
Thank you.
You don't have to call the attorney because she was out on bond.
Good morning. My name's Kennedy Mason.
Good morning. You're here in 22 MM 3051, charged with battery, dating violence. I'm going to, well, does she qualify? She does. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Did you wish to be heard on anything, Ms. George?
Just bond, Your Honor.
All right, there is probable cause. I reviewed the affidavit. Sir, did you wish to testify?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Aye.
Please state your name for the record.
Preston Brown.
All right, I'm going to see if the prosecutor has some questions for you.
Good morning, Mr. Brown. Can you please state your relationship to Miss Mason?
My girlfriend.
Are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
No, ma'am.
If anything like this ever occurred in the future, would you feel comfortable calling 911?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe drugs or alcohol were involved in this incident?
Yes, ma'am.
Which of the two?
Alcohol.
And do you want to have contact with her while this case is pending?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the court?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, anything, Ms. George?
No questions, Your Honor. I would just ask for pretrial release, given that she does qualify. And the victim testified he is not afraid, Your Honor.
What says the state?
Can I ask one more question, Your Honor?
Yes.
She qualifies for a program called pretrial release, meaning that she'd be released without paying money to get out, but she'd be supervised by the jail while she was out. Does that sound okay to you?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Is it okay if she'd be put on a program where she'd be released from custody without paying any money to get out, but that she'd be supervised to make sure that the conditions that the judge places, she follows?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that okay? Say there's no objection to PTR, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Mason, I'm going to place you on pretrial release with special conditions. You can have only peaceful contact with the victim. Do you understand what peaceful contact means?
Yes, ma'am.
No hitting, no throwing things, no shoving. Don't even raise your voice.
Understood.
You can't possess a weapon, firearm, or ammunition. You can't possess or consume any alcoholic beverages. You'll be subject to random alcohol screens while you're on pretrial release. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for coming, sir. Good luck. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh.
David Hernandez is mental health.
All right. That's 22 CT 829 out of Seminole County. It's a failure to appear warrant on a dwell list, but he has a bond. It's $995.
I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, I'll appoint the PD. It's a warrant out of Broward with no bond. Do you want me to appoint your office?
Yes, Your Honor. Now,
All right, I'll appoint the PD.
thank you.
Are you waiving his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Omar Hickson.
Sir, you're here in 19 CF 726680 for a violation of probation. The allegation is that you violated your probation by committing the new law violation of petty theft in Osceola County. There's no bond on that warrant. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you.
I already got one.
Oh, you have one?
Yes.
All right. Good luck, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney. right, ma'am, you're here in several cases. 21 CF 4793 is a violation of probation case. The allegation is that you committed a new law violation, which is in 22 CF 5208, possession of cocaine. There is probable cause. You're also here in 19 CF 2722, also a violation of probation based on the new law. And 22 CF 4958 is a warrant that was issued for your arrest for aggravated assault with a firearm. So in that case, another judge has already found probable cause. Your bond in that case is $15,000. You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You can't have any contact with the victim or any witness in that case. In the possession of cocaine, your bond is $1,000. You can't possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription or have contact with any known drug dealers. And in the 2 VOP cases, you'll have no bond at this time. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in these cases, ma'am.
Actually, Your Honor, there's 3 VOP
There's
cases.
3.
One with the same case, one is a warrant, one is an on view.
Oh, what's that case number?
The same, the 2021 CF 4793, one is a warrant, one is an on view.
Okay. All right, so you have 2 warrants then. Sorry, I missed that. I'm appointing the public defender's office in all of those cases.
So no bond on all the VOPs, Your Honor.
Correct, no bond on any VOP. Good luck, ma'am. Thank you.
Joel Kinnett.
Mr. Kinnett, you're here in 21 MM 634980 for violating your probation. The allegations are you failed to keep your appointments as directed by probation, you absconded, you failed to pay, you failed to complete the drug evaluation as directed, and you failed to enroll and complete in the batterers intervention program as directed. There's no bond on that warrant. Sir, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Oh, yeah. Wait, before he leaves. Mr. George, do you want to enter a denial? It's a misdemeanor.
Yes, I'll enter it now.
Division 50 VOP status, June 24th at 9 o'clock.
All right, stay in touch with your attorney, sir. That's your next court date.
Amanda Villarreal.
Good morning, ma'am. You're here in 21 MM 277180 for violating your probation. The allegation is that you had contact with the victim. There's no bond on that warrant. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Does she have a hold for Broward?
She does, yeah.
I'll enter denial, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Division 50 VOP status, June 24th at 9 o'clock, courtroom 9C.
Stay in touch with your attorney, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it? Oh.
33 days?
What's he here for?
Good morning. 33 motion.
But, I'm sorry? Oh, for a 33-day motion, okay. I was like, did we miss your case altogether? Because you're still sitting there very quietly and patiently. Who's your,
So I was just waiting.
okay, who's your client?
I have Angel Lewis Vega.
Hold on. Oh, I just found it, sorry.
Angel Vega, 22 CF 3528, granted notice and on filing.
All right, so I'm sorry, I'm reading the motion now, Counselor. Your client has been in custody for more than 40 days. Is that correct, State?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Then I will grant that. All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
that's done. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. May I be excused?
Yes, sir, have a nice day. All right,
Would you like me to go through them, Your Honor?
yes, please.
Vincent Knapp, 22 CF 3904, granted, no information notice was filed.
A no information notice was filed?
Yes. Yancy Fillmore, 22 CF 3843, granted, no information, or notice on filing, I'm sorry.
Notice, okay.
Lionel Diaz Cordero, 22 CF 3884, granted, notice on filing. Celeste Bell, 22 CF 3858, granted, notice non-filing.
All right. Okay, how long do you guys need?
State's ready, Your Honor.
Yeah, it was such a light day, I did it too, but I can give you as long as you need. Yeah, the clerk needs 30 minutes. Is 30 okay?
You got them up, make sure everybody's up.
That's however long you need. I'm easygoing. Is 30 minutes enough? All right. All right, we're back on the record. It's 10:30. Counsel, if you want to go ahead and put your appearance on record one more time.
Taylor Fleming on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Letitia George on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
All right, we're ready to go. I have Brian Larmore first. Is that what you have? Okay. They wanted to skip the other one, so you were right. I mean, I wouldn't say I was wrong. I would say you already knew.
Brian Larmore, Brian, L-A-R-M-O-R-E.
Good morning, sir. You're here today charged with driving under the influence, a third DUI within 10 years, DUI with property damage, driving while license suspended, and leaving the scene of a crash with property damage. In 22 CF 3601, a warrant was issued for your arrest, which means probable cause was already found by another judge in this case. Does he qualify for the public defender? All right, sir, do you want to have an attorney represent you in this case?
No, ma'am.
You want to represent yourself?
I would like to represent myself right now.
All right.
Simple. First off,
Hold on, before you say anything else, sir,
you're charged with 4 charges.
let me explain why we're here today. A warrant was issued by another judge for your arrest, and you were arrested on that warrant. So you're here today in front of me. I'm the judge explaining to you what the charges are, and I'm going to set your bond. That's the only thing we're doing today. Everything you say today is being recorded and can be used against you later. Do you understand that?
No point in going any further in the courtroom.
I'm sorry, can you get close?
No point in going any further in the courtroom. There's one charge. There's not a possible chance I don't leave no scene of an accident. Because I don't even remember driving. I don't remember driving since January. I was hit by a car and left for dead. I-4 off-ramp.
Sir, you may have some defenses to this case. The allegation is...
I want no defense. I want to go to detox and aspire. I want to go get my life straight. I was trying to get an ID, get into the Christian, the Salvation Army in program, and get my life straight. The day they arrested me, I didn't get to call my mother.
Okay. All right.
On the 13th, my partner that I just met has a heart operation. If I'm not in arms, my partner dies.
Mr. Larmar, can I ask you a question, sir?
I'd like to go to, I'm being honest.
Oh, yes, I appreciate that.
Permanently. I never want to drive again.
I understand.
Completely, I've been beaten, robbed, damn near murdered.
All right, Mr. Larmar, here's what I'm going to do today. Just for purposes of today,
Truth, I'd like to go to what is it? Bridges, inpatient.
right. I hear what you're, I know, I hear what you're saying. Here's what I'm going to do, just for today. I understand you want to represent yourself, but I'm going to appoint,
I'm alive every
Mr. Larmore, I need you to be quiet and listen. Can you listen to me? Here's what I'm going to do just for today. I know you want to represent yourself, but I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you for today. You can always have them discharged later. But, Ms. George, I think that you probably have some of the same concerns that I do.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm not paying a bond, and I'm not paying them.
I just
Okay,
asked that
you don't have to pay the bond, sir. That's fine.
Pay public defenders.
I'm gonna stay the bonds as listed in the warrant.
Your Honor.
Because they've never done you right.
I'll make a note in our system as well.
Right, and what she'll do, sir, her office will see if they can get you some help and maybe to aspire, okay?
I want to talk to Alvin.
All right, good luck, sir. Hold on, before we get to the next one, also, he can't possess or consume any alcoholic beverages, can't drive without a valid Florida license, no contact with any victim or witness. But Ms. George, I'm telling you as his representative because I didn't think he was going to be able to understand any of that.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Hello, how you doing? Michael Virgil.
Mr. Virgil, you're here in a couple of cases. 22 CF 521480, you're charged with criminal mischief. And then are the VOPs today?
No, no.
Okay,
Just the-
so the criminal mischief charge is greater than $1,000 worth of damage. Sir, do you wish to have an attorney represent you?
A public defender, man.
All right, that's an attorney. Did he fill out the affidavit? All right, sir, raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Sir, do you have a job? How do you support yourself?
Well, I had a job before I came to jail.
All right, how much money did you make?
600 a week.
How many dependents do you have?
Just myself.
Your Honor, he's been in jail since January of this year,
Oh,
so.
all right, all right, I'll appoint the public defender's office. Ms. George, did you wish to be heard on anything?
No, Your Honor.
There is probable cause. I reviewed the affidavit. Sir, your bond is $2,500. You can't have any contact with the victim or any witness and no return to the scene. Do you understand?
Your Honor, it was,
Question, Your Honor?
Yes, just one moment.
here at the correctional facility.
Oh, I'll strike the no return to the scene. What was your question, sir? Ask your attorney first.
So that would mean.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir.
Luis Cabrera.
22 MM 2234. Ms. George, this is one of your cases, I believe.
Okay.
Your office represents him.
Yes, Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return to 3600 South John Young Parkway. And I did speak to Mr. Cabrera. We went over all the rights. He understood his rights and would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Sir, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you heard what your attorney just said. You can put your hand down, sir. Is that what you want to do here today?
Yes.
You had the opportunity to discuss with her the rights you'd be giving up if you enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me about them?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation?
Yes.
You understand if you're on probation anywhere, this plea could violate that?
Yes.
All right, sir, understanding all those rights at this time, how do you wish to plead to the charge of trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 34 days you've been in custody. I have to order that you pay court costs I'll give you a year to pay those. And no return to the address your attorney listed. Do you understand, sir?
Thank you.
All right, you have 30 days to appeal in writing. Good luck.
For Lee Jeter.
22 MM 122AA. You're here charged with battery domestic violence. Ms. George?
We're gonna enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Division 50, pretrial conference, June 20th at 9 o'clock, courtroom 7C.
Stay in touch with your attorney, sir. Ms. George, it's already your case.
Yep, I will waive and enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Division 85, pretrial conference, June 13th at 9 o'clock, courtroom 4A.
Joel Rivera.
22 MM 2062. You're here charged with battery and resisting an officer without violence. Ms. George, your office represents him.
I will enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Division 83, pretrial conference, June 6th at 8:30, courtroom 6C.
That's your next court date, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney. Okay. Twenty-two MM 66AW. I'm going to appoint your office, Ms. George.
I will waive and enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Division 61, pretrial conference, June 2nd at 1:30, courtroom 6B.
Peter Antonio Demetrius Woods.
22 MM 2115. Sir, you're here charged with criminal mischief with damage more than $200. Do you want to have an attorney represent you in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, did you say yes, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have a job, sir?
Not at the moment. I've been incarcerated for several months now, so
All right. Would you like me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
yes, ma'am.
All right. I'll appoint them, but he'll still have to fill out the affidavit.
And I will enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Division 83, pretrial conference, June 6th at 8:30, courtroom 6C.
Call your attorney's office, sir, okay?
You're welcome.
Oh, they're Spanish? I have Jose Ayala Marin. Okay, so do I do it on this? Call interpreter. Okay, got it. How many Spanish do we have? Just the two? Okay, don't put the headphones on yet.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Rafael Barrera, State Certified Court Interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
Good morning. Please ask them to raise their right hand to be sworn.
Por favor, levanten su mano derecha para recibir juramento.
Is he Spanish too? Okay.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Juran solemnemente o afirma que el testimonio que dará en este caso será la verdad, toda la verdad, solamente la verdad ante Dios. Conteste en voz alta, por favor.
Sí.
What did you say?
How about him? Did he say yes?
Usted dijo que sí.
All right. You can put your hands down. Now you can put the headphones on him.
Pueden bajar la mano, le van a poner los audífonos. Thank you, Your Honor. Allow me just a moment to connect and confirm.
Yes, thank you. I just thought we would do it once.
Sí, sí.
Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm defendant is able to hear through the headsets.
All right. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
José Isidro Ayala Marín.
José Isidro Ayala Marín.
Sir, you're here in 22 MO 589, charged with disorderly conduct. Was there an offer in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer from the state was to withhold credit time served and court costs. However, I was not able to speak to him because of.
For Mr. Ayala was the only one without an offer.
Oh, he did? Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
You what?
He was the only one without an offer, Your Honor.
He does not have an offer?
The disorderly, the underlying is a battery, and we don't have any things saying that the other person does not want to go forward.
I wondered why it was charged as a disorderly conduct when it's a battery.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that one.
All right, Mr. Ayala, do you wish to have an attorney represent you in this case?
Yes.
All right, sir, do you have a job?
No.
No.
How do you support yourself?
Mi esposa es pensionada y el incidente fue con mi hijastro, que no vive en casa.
My wife received a pension, and the incident occurred with my stepson, and he doesn't live there.
All right, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause. Your bond is $250. At this time, you can have no contact with the victim. You can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
It's county ordinance. All right. All right, good luck, sir.
Your Honor, the interpreter can respectfully request a confirmation of the case number for this last defendant.
22 MO 589.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Sí, lo escucho.
Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm defendant is able to hear through the headsets.
Please tell me your name.
Isaías Giovanni Escalante Mazariegos. Giovanni Escalante Mazariegos.
Isaías Giovanni Escalante Mazariegos.
Sir, you're here charged with driving while license suspended or revoked, third or subsequent violation. There is probable cause. Sir, do you wish to have an attorney represent you in this case?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have a job?
Sí, trabajo.
I work.
How much money do you make?
Yo a la semana gano de 400.
Every week about 400.
All right, according to the affidavit, he qualifies for the assistance of the public defender. I will appoint your office. Did you wish to be heard, counselor?
No, Your Honor, I believe he has the violation of probation. Is he being seen on that one too? Yep. No, Your Honor, I don't.
All right, I'll stay the bond at $5,000. Sir, you cannot drive without a valid Florida license. What's the violation of probation case number? Because
Seminole County, it's 20 CF 2598.
all right, you also have a violation of probation out of Seminole County, sir. Is there bond on that? With no bond? I'll appoint the PD in that case as well. Good luck, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney.
And Your Honor, if the interpreter could respectfully request a case number for this last defendant other than that Seminole case.
22 CF 5224 AO.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. That's all we have for the interpreter at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good morning.
Thank you as well. Please tell me your name.
Deanna Sellers.
22 MM 244 AW. You're here charged with battery. It looks like the PD was previously appointed, Ms. George.
I will enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Division 50 pretrial conference, June 20th at 9 o'clock, courtroom 7C.
Good luck, ma'am. Stay in touch with your attorney. What's your name, ma'am?
Heidi Davis.
Ms. Davis, you're here in 22 MM 2843. A warrant was issued for your arrest, charging you with petty theft, retail petty theft. Another judge has already found probable cause. Your bond is $500. You can't return to the scene and you can't have contact with any victim or witness in the case. Do you understand?
Yes.
Does she qualify? I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck, ma'am. Stay in touch with your attorney. 22 MM 3053. I'm going to appoint your office, Ms. George.
I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, there is probable cause. Bond is 500 on count 2, 100 on count 1, no return, no victim or witness contact. Was she out on bond for a petty theft with 2 priors?
Out on RR, yes, Your Honor.
I'm revoking that ROR.
I was trying to see if they filed.
She has a really lengthy history. And while out on bond for a 3rd petty theft, she's arrested for another petty theft, so.
Yes, Your Honor. We are appointed, so.
All right, I'm not gonna. I'll set that bond at $5,000 on the out on bond. I was gonna hold her at none, but I'll set it at 5. All right.
Your name.
Oh, Bruce Gallery.
Good morning, sir. You're here in 22 CO 452 because you failed to appear for court and the judge issued a KPS for your arrest with a bond of $250.
And Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and court costs. And Mr. Glover went over his rights. He would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Raise your right hand, sir.
Raise your hand, please. Sorry.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Thank you.
All right, Mr. Glover, you had the opportunity to speak with an attorney about the rights you'd be giving up if you enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
I see you're signing a form. It further explains those rights. Did you have a chance to read that and understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for me about these rights?
No.
You understand if you're on probation anywhere, this plea could violate that probation?
Yes.
I need you to answer out loud. I see your head nodding, but I still need you to say yes or no. You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation?
Yes.
All right, so at this time, understanding all those rights, wait a minute. How do you wish to plead to possession of alcohol in a public place where prohibited?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 2 days you've been in custody. Sir, I have to order that you pay court costs. I'll give you a year to pay those. I did not. Were they previously appointed? She spoke to him as a friend of the court. All right, good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal in writing.
Sorry, I signed it. I couldn't remember who we were.
Oh, that's why you're asking. (22 MO 591AO). Ms. George, I'm going to appoint your office.
I will waive the appearance.
All right, there is probable cause. I'll stay the bond at $250. I'm going to take no action on the out on bond. because of what it is.
Ron Edison.
Sir, you're here in 22 CT 1244 because a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear at arraignment. I believe the charge is no valid driver's license.
Yes, Your Honor.
The judge set your bond on that at $500.
The offer from the state, Your Honor, is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, court costs. I did speak to Mr. Edison. We went over his rights. He would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Raise your right hand, please.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
True.
All right, sir. You had the opportunity to speak with an attorney before court about the rights you'd be giving up if you enter a plea today. Do you understand those rights?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me about them?
What rights?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, no.
No questions? All right, did you read this form, sir?
Yeah, I just looked.
It further explains those rights. You understand that if you're on probation anywhere, this plea could violate that probation. And if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation. All right, understanding all of those rights, sir, how do you wish to plead to the charge of no valid driver's license?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 2 days you've been in custody. I'm sorry, this is a driving while license suspended. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. So before I accept this plea, sir, I need to make sure you understand that driving while license suspended is what we call an enhanceable offense, which means after a certain number of convictions, the state can file this as a felony. Does that change your mind?
No, but my license is suspended. I have a license from New Jersey. I paid that ticket already.
So it's not a ticket, and you can't drive in Florida with a New Jersey license if you live here. You have to have a valid Florida license. But you understand this is a criminal offense, right?
We went over that.
All right, so I'm sorry, I was thinking of the next case, which is a no valid driver's license. This is a different charge. But does that change anything for you? No. All the same rights? Okay.
We went over it back there, Your Honor.
I'm so sorry, I just misspoke. All right, then I will accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 2 days. I have to order that you pay court costs, that's around $300. How long do you need to pay that?
A year or next week, next paycheck?
Can we do 6 months, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Just
I'll give you 6 months.
Yeah.
Let's do 6 months. All right, do you have any questions for me?
Do I have to pay bond? Figure it out.
I'm sorry?
Do I have to pay bond? No.
No, you just pled.
Just resolve
So
it.
this case is now over, except you still have to pay the court costs. And if you don't pay them, it will resuspend your driving privilege.
Heard. Okay, great.
All right, you have 30 days to appeal in writing. Good luck, sir.
Pedro Luis Estevez.
Sir, you're here in 22 CT 952AO because a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for arraignment on a charge of no valid driver's license. The judge set your bond at $500.
Your Honor, state did give me an offer of a withhold credit time served.
And I did speak to, I wasn't gonna try the last name, Your Honor. We did go over his rights. And he would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Oh, he couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Understand that.
Are you Spanish?
Yeah, I didn't understand.
He needs the Spanish interpreter, Your Honor.
Okay. Let me see if I can get them. Do you have a plea form in Spanish?
Okay, okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
Good morning. Could you please connect with a headset?
Sí.
There is contact, Your Honor.
Sir, please tell me your name.
Pedro Luis Esteves Rodriguez.
Pedro Luis Esteves Rodriguez.
Raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, sir, you're here in 22 CT 95280 because a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for arraignment on a charge of no valid driver's license. The judge authorized a bond of $500. However, the state has made an offer. Can you tell them what the offer is?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer to resolve is a withhold of adjudication, credit time served.
Are you interested in accepting the state's offer today?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that form in Spanish, Ms. George? All right, I need you to look at that form in front of you, sir. Tell me if you understand what you're reading.
Sí.
Yes.
All right, sir. Do you have any questions for me about the rights you're giving up if you enter a plea of guilty or no contest?
Could you please repeat?
Do you understand the rights you're giving up if you enter a plea of guilty or no contest?
Sí.
Yes.
You're giving up your right to remain silent, your right to testify on your own behalf and present any defenses you may have, your right to a jury trial when one is required. You understand, sir, that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation?
¿Cómo así deportación?
What do you mean by deportation?
If you're not a United States citizen and you enter a plea of guilty or no contest to a criminal charge, you can be deported, sent back to your country. I don't know if you're a U.S. citizen or not.
Yeah. Yo tengo green card.
He has a green card, Your Honor. I just asked that you stay at the bond. When I spoke to him back there, he didn't tell me he's not a U.S. citizen when we went over his rights.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond on this charge is $500. Stay in touch with your attorney and you'll get your next court date. All right, good luck, sir.
Manuel Fernandez bonded.
All right, do we have any other Spanish that we know of?
No, ma'am.
All right, that's all we have for the interpreter at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Fernandez bonded. Chandler Birch bonded. Samuel Brown bonded.
Juan Felix.
You're here in 22 CF 5215, charged with aggravated assault with a firearm. Hold on one second. Possession of a concealed weapon or firearm by a convicted felon, carrying a concealed firearm, and threat to law enforcement officer, public official, or family member. Did he complete an affidavit? All right, sir. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. George, did you wish to be heard on anything in this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. There is probable cause here. Does the state wish to be heard on bond?
No, Your Honor.
And
It shows he's a violent felony offender of special concern.
Yes, he has several violent arrests, Your Honor.
See that?
I would just point to the fact, Your Honor, that although he has some convictions, he has no failures to appear. So I just ask that you take that into consideration when setting his bond amount in this case.
I believe the firearm also came back as stolen. And he was not charged with that.
All right. At this time, sir, your bond will be $15,000 on count 1, $4,000 on count 2, $1,000 on count 3, and $1,000 on count 4. With special conditions, you can't possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes.
You can't have contact with any victim or witness in this case. You cannot return to the Quality Inn at 2601 McCoy Road. Any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney. Please tell me your name.
Ira Lawson.
All right. Ms. Lawson, you're here in 22 CF 522680. A warrant was issued for your arrest, charging you with false imprisonment. That means another judge has already found probable cause in this case. Do you have any idea why it's false imprisonment and not kidnapping?
No, Your Honor. I do not. Since it came in as a warrant,
I'm
I'm not going to ask for additional time because
all right.
State's only concern is alleged that she drove away from the scene with the child. And she does have a hold for as well as out of Manatee currently. And a prior failure to appear in 2022. So just bring that to your attention. As a concern of her showing back up to court as her failure to appear has been extremely recent.
Say the last thing again.
The state's only concern is her failure to show back up to court as her failure to appear was this year in 2022.
I see.
And she was allegedly driving a vehicle when she has a suspended license.
Your Honor, I just point to the fact that other than the driving while license suspended, my client has no criminal history. So I just ask that you take that into consideration when setting the bond amount in this case.
Because of the way the warrant is issued, it's false imprisonment. I don't believe the court can hold her at no bond. I believe I have to issue a bond by law.
I agree, Your Honor. I believe one of the aggravating factors here is, I believe it's alleged she had the child for approximately 19 hours, which is the state would argue is a fairly lengthy period of time. I would ask that you take that into consideration when setting a bond amount.
Yes, Your Honor. However, this does not appear to be normal behavior, as the only criminal charge she has on her record is a driving while license suspended. So I'd also ask that, in light of the facts, you also consider the fact that she has no other criminal history other than that driving while license suspended. Not even I don't even see a juvenile history, Your Honor.
I see that. All right, ma'am, because by law I'm required to give you bond, I will set your bond at $25,000 With special conditions, you can have no contact with the victim or any witness in this case. You can have no contact with any minor child under the age of 18. You can't possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription. You'll be subject to random drug screens. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
Your Honor, state would ask for a no return to the victim's residence.
I will order you cannot return to the victim's residence, and I'll order that you must comply with any plans set in place by DCF. Did I appoint the PD? Okay. All right, ma'am.
She actually has a 2-year-old son that she takes care of. Could she be allowed to at least be around her own child, as she doesn't have any prior history of child abuse or anything of that nature? The only child I would ask if she'd be allowed to be around is her child, Your Honor.
I don't see any history of child abuse. What says the state?
Your Honor, state has no objection to her own child.
All right, I'll allow only, what is that child's name?
Camden Davis.
I'm sorry?
Camden Davis.
Camden Davis, Your
All
Honor.
right, I'll allow contact only with Camden Davis. All right, good luck, ma'am. Stay in touch with your attorney.
Jared Prohaska.
You're here in 22 CF 5110AO because a warrant was issued for your arrest, charging you with leaving the scene of a crash with death and vehicular homicide.
No contest.
Sir, you can't enter a plea to this charge today. Do you have an attorney representing you?
No, ma'am, I'm just a public defender for now.
Well, that's an attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Another judge has already found probable cause in this case because it's a warrant.
Is there any way I could get bond for the other charge?
In just a moment, let me ask the state if they wish to be heard on bond.
Yes, Judge. Count 1 is a first-degree felony. It's not punishable by life, so he is entitled to a bond on count 1. The state's asking for $150,000, and to stay count 2 with what it came in on the warrant as at $100,000. The victim in this case was a 13-year-old child, and I believe it's alleged in the warrant that he was being confronted about another unrelated incident and was basically fleeing from law enforcement when he hit the child. So state would ask for $150,000 on 1 and to stay $100,000 on 2. He also had a prior failure to appear in 2022. So state believes that bond amount will help secure his presence for future court dates, given the gravity of this offense and that a death of a child did result.
Thank you.
Right.
Ms. George, anything from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just ask that you can consider the fact that he has been in the Orlando area over a year. Looks like his last conviction was for a petty theft, but that was back in 2017. So I just ask that you take that into consideration, as well as the fact that they did set his second bond at $100,000. My client is unemployed. He's not going to be able to afford an additional $150,000. If you're going to stay the $100,000 bond, Your Honor, I'd ask that you set a lower bond on count 2 of at least $10,000, no more than $10,000, Your Honor, as he cannot afford $150,000 and $100,000 on count 2.
All right, thank you both. I reviewed the affidavit for the warrant as well as the statute, and another factor the court must consider when setting bond is a reasonable bond that weighs the defendant's right to bond with the responsibility to protect the citizens of Orange County. And based on the facts that are contained in this affidavit, I think the state's request of $150,000 on count 1 is reasonable. I will set his bond at that. I will stay count two at 100,000 with special conditions. Sir, you can have no contact with the victim's family members or any witness in this case. You can't drive
Yes, ma'am.
any type of vehicle for any reason.
Yes, ma'am. I haven't been driving since.
You can't return to this scene. Is that where you were living?
Where the scene was?
Right, well, near the scene. They had responded, law enforcement was responding to an incident at 9905 Nakoma Lane.
That's where I live. Yes, ma'am.
And then I believe the mailbox was struck also on Nakoma Lane.
Right. All right, I'm not going to say he can't return there then. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney. Thank you.
Matthew Sanguine, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're here in 22 CF 521180, charged with driving while license permanently revoked.
Yes, ma'am. I do have a hardship license. I was arrested.
Sir, before you say anything else, everything you say is being recorded and can be used against you later. The purpose of this hearing today is just to establish whether there was probable cause for the arrest and your bond conditions. You can tell me anything you want, but as I said, it's all being recorded and can be used against you later. Do you have an attorney, sir?
No, ma'am.
Do you want to have an attorney representing you? Do you have the money to hire an attorney? Do you have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
How much money do you make?
Like 80,000 a year.
How much?
80,000.
Sir, you don't qualify for the assistance of the public defender. You're going to have to try to hire an attorney.
I have 4 dependents, ma'am.
Oh. Hold on a minute.
I live with my 3 children at home, ma'am. Here in Orange County for the last 10 years.
All right, so you just told me that you make $80,000 a year.
Right.
On this form, it looks like you wrote $7,000 a month and then changed that to a 4.
Well, it's supposed to be a 4 on there, so 4 times 8 is 32. 6 would be, 48.
Right, but that's not $80,000 a year.
Yeah, I was just guesstimating. I wouldn't do the math correctly. I'm sorry.
I need you to raise your right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
You swear, man?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, sir, I'm a little concerned that you're not being honest with me.
Have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes. There's a really big difference between making $48,000 a year and making $80,000 a year.
Well, I'm considering that with after the taxes, after they take the taxes out, that's what I take home.
All right, so you are saying that you make $80,000 and you take home $48,000?
Well, I get like about 35% taken out because it's sales. The commissions that they take out, about 35% of my commissions. That's what it comes out to. I have my W-2 from last year.
All right, so on this form it says, I have a take-home pay of this amount monthly. Your testimony is you take home $4,000 a month.
Yes, ma'am. That's after taxes.
And you have 4 dependents
Yes, ma'am.
who live with you.
Yes, ma'am. Dominic, Angelina, and Alejandro, and Hazel.
I'm not sure you qualify, but based on that, I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Did you wish to be heard, Ms. George?
Your Honor, the only thing I would ask to be heard on is the out on bond. As far as the out on bond, I would ask that if you are going to revoke, that you revoke in double as opposed to holding him at no bond. He's the full-time provider for his children. He is employed full-time. He's been at the same location for 6 years. In addition to that, he has been in the Orlando area for over a year, and he has no failures to appear, even with all of the charges that are listed there, Your Honor. So I just ask that you take that into consideration. It appears he will show up to court, and that would allow him to at least continue to provide for his family while he's out on bond, Your Honor.
Does the state wish to be heard?
Yes, Judge. Both of those out on bond cases, the arrest was 5-3. And the grand theft of motor vehicle was the same Mercedes vehicle that I believe he was driving in this case.
And wait, it's the same vehicle?
I believe so. They're both a Mercedes SUV. So, I mean, given that arguably this case, he was driving a reported stolen Mercedes-Benz SUV with a suspended license. In those cases, the arrest being 5-3, driving a stolen vehicle and the suspended license, state would ask that you revoke. And it's only been 6 days, so there hasn't been a reasonable amount of time for a filing decision.
Your Honor, he does know the owner of the vehicle. They were actually together at the time, so I just ask that you consider that.
All right, in the instant case, your bond is $5,000. Sir, you can't drive.
Yes, ma'am.
And at this time, I'm revoking both of your out on bond cases.
And you appointed us an out on bond as well, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what?
On the out on bond, I don't believe he has an attorney.
I don't think so.
So could you appoint us since he's being held at no bond?
Because he doesn't qualify.
But being that he's being held at no bond, Your Honor, he's probably going to lose the job anyway. I'd just ask that you appoint us since he's going to be held at no bond.
Your Honor, can I speak for a second?
Again, sir, you can say anything you wish. Everything you say is being recorded and can be held against you later.
The vehicle, it was the same exact vehicle. I purchased the vehicle. This was for my nanny, okay? And the nanny got possession of the vehicle. And on Friday night, she had the car. It was towed from the Kissimmee Hospital to the car dealership at Mercedes. They wouldn't release the car to her. They would only release it to me because I had purchased it there at the dealership. So she went with me. We picked up the car and drove it back to her house. She reported it stolen that Friday night because she didn't know what had happened to it. When she found out it was at the dealership, she went with me there, grabbed the vehicle, and brought it back to her house. And that's when the police arrested me. I didn't steal any vehicle, and they didn't charge me with grand theft auto that night or yesterday. They charged me with driving unsuspended, which when I bonded out last week, I gave my hardship license to the bondsman at All-Star Bondsman. They have copies of it, so I'm telling you that if I can't get out, I can't provide for my family, and I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm begging the court, please, can I have the opportunity to post a double bond or whatever it may be to ensure that I'm going to appear in court and follow through with what I say I'm going to do? Because if I can't provide for my kids, I don't know what's going to happen to them.
I don't either, sir, but it concerns me that a week ago, you were arrested for driving on a suspended license, and last night you were also arrested for driving on a license that's permanently revoked. It doesn't appear there are any conditions this court can impose that will affect you complying with the law, and I don't understand
I
that.
have a hardship license through Broward County. I got the hardship license about 60 days ago. My license was suspended 18 years ago. If you look at the case, it was 18 years ago. 2005. I just recently went through in the alcohol classes and providing the SR22 insurance, which I did, and I got the hardship, and I just started driving like less than 2 months ago, and this has all happened within the last week. I've not been arrested for anything since 2005.
You were convicted in 2016 of leaving the scene of a crash.
2016?
Yes. So, do you have his driving record? driving history? I don't have access to it right now.
Try to pull it.
Oh, do you have it?
I can try to pull it
Oh,
up.
that'd be great.
And Your Honor, when I was pulled over yesterday, in front of the house of the registered owner of the vehicle, they took me down thinking that the vehicle was stolen again, right? And the owner told them that it was not stolen, that she reported it and it was a mistake, that she found out later that it was at the dealership. She couldn't get the dealership to give her the car without me because I had originally purchased it. So their thought in the beginning was I was there for Grand Theft Auto, and that wasn't the case. And I told them my hardship license was in the car, and they still took me to jail and wouldn't grab it out of the vehicle. And the registered owner has the vehicle. All-Star Bondsman has my copy of my hardship. I don't know how this happened again. And I was with the owner of the car, helping her actually after church. She actually goes to our church.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, one last thing. This morning, the registered owner of the vehicle went to the prosecutor's office and requested that the original Grand Theft Auto be dropped because it was a mistake. She did not know that the vehicle was at my house. Excuse me, sorry.
Okay, well, that'll be up to the state if they drop it or not.
And if you look, Your Honor, in that same case, the Grand Theft Auto case, everything that he's stating is everything he told the officer in the arrest affidavit.
Hold on one moment. So it looks like from his driving history, it was suspended in 2005 for DUI and Dwellis. He refused in 2002. I can't tell if that's from the 1999 DUI, of which he has at least one,
That was when I was in college, I believe, in Arizona.
maybe three.
It's Broward.
So while his license was permanently revoked, he has a Mercedes-Benz and a Tesla in his name.
Yeah, but both those cars are in the Toro program. I don't drive those cars until just recently, until I got my hardship. But those cars are in the Toro program, so they're rented. It's a ride-sharing program. So the cars go into the program and people rent them. I don't know if you know about Toro, but there's an app that it works with.
And in 2019, you got a red light ticket.
It wasn't me. The car was registered to me.
I can't tell what's
And they're leaving the scene of the accident. I don't know what
true and what's not.
that one's about because where is that transaction?
I don't know. I don't have it.
Even so, I don't know the scope of his hardship.
I'm sorry, what?
Even, I mean, this seems pretty complicated, but I don't know the scope of his hardship. It's usually to work, to church.
Right, this isn't gonna be in it.
I was with the pastor and the registered owner of the vehicle. We went to the Mercedes dealership, it's right here in Millennia. He followed behind me, she was in the car with me. He drove it right to her house. When we got to her house, that's when the police came out and they pulled me out of the car. They pulled her out of the car and she explained to them that she had made a mistake. The car was not stolen. The car had been towed by roadside assistance to the Mercedes dealership.
Sir, then why wasn't she driving?
She doesn't have a license. I have my hardship.
So you bought a car for someone who doesn't have a license? When you don't have a license either? But she doesn't have a license, so she can't drive.
She does have a license. It's now suspended because she didn't pay some tickets. Her license just got suspended like less than a month ago.
All right.
Check that. That's valid.
Okay.
But my hardship is for church purposes, to take my kids to school and work. When we were at small group at First Baptist Church of Windermere, we left there with the pastor to pick up her car. That's exactly how it happened. I got picked up at 4:30. Our small group starts at 3. We had church at 12. Please, Your Honor, I'm begging you for an opportunity just to be able to bond out and be able to take care of my kids. And I promise this is not going to happen. There's no issues. This car is now in her possession. But she's fixing her license. And I'm following through with all the hardship that I had to do. I paid quite a bit of money to get it, the SR22, which is like $300 a month. Plus all the schooling I had to take, like 24 hours of alcohol classes. And I don't even drink anymore.
That's good.
But all those DUIs happened while I was in college, man.
Okay, stop. You're talking too much. Stop.
Which campus?
Arizona State University.
No. Which campus for the church?
First Baptist Church of Windermere. The one right there where the circle, the roundabout is in Windermere. You go to the right of it. You get right at the roundabout, and it's on the left-hand side. It's across the street from the tennis courts. My children play tennis at the tennis courts there.
Mm-hmm. Now you understand why I didn't think you qualified. Okay, so your church has 5 campuses.
Yes, it's right in the heart of Windermere, downtown Windermere.
You don't know the name of the campus.
The street that it's on,
Who's your pastor?
Pastor Richard Utz. Pastor Richard Utz. He was actually following us to get the vehicle in Millennia. UTZ, Pastor Utz.
That's not the pastor.
He's a pastor there. I don't think he's the main pastor, but he's an associate pastor there. Richard Utz.
Who's the main pastor?
He actually runs our small group.
He's not a pastor.
He runs our small group there, man. If he's not the main pastor, he's not the main pastor, like an associate pastor, or
He's not on the website anywhere.
well, I don't know if they've had their website updated or not, but he is definitely a pastor there, man.
Your church has also changed the name of the church.
First Baptist Church of Windermere.
It doesn't.
Across the street from the tennis court.
Yeah, it doesn't go by that anymore.
What's it go by? The acronym FB.
No, it's called Family Church now. They changed their name.
You're talking about the one on not on Chase Road.
I'm just telling you, First Baptist Church of Windermere changed its name to Family Church.
So I've been going there with my kids for the last 6 years since I've lived here. It's been called First Baptist Church of Windermere. That's how I've known it to be. Family Church. It's maybe an acronym they use, but it's still under First Baptist Church of Windermere.
No, it's not. Not according to the website.
Well, I don't know if their website is accurate, but I was just there yesterday. And so is the registered owner of the vehicle. So is the pastor.
I can't tell what's true and what's not. So let me look at his criminal history. So I see that his last conviction is from 2016.
2016 was what?
Leaving the scene of a crash. Do you have the dates of his other priors, Ms. Fleming?
I'm repulling his DCIS, Your Honor.
There's trafficking, DUI, Willis, leaving the scene.
15 years ago.
I have a 19 red light camera.
I'm sorry, what?
I have a 2019 red light camera. I have a 2016 DV battery out of St. John's that was dropped. I have a 2011 trafficking in cocaine from Miami-Dade that was dropped.
So what's the trafficking in cannabis? That's the conviction. When was that?
2005.
I have trafficking in cannabis was Miami-Dade in 2003. I have a
20 years ago. I was in college.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I don't need to hear anything else, sir. I'm just trying to decide what to do because I can't really tell what's true and what's not. So here's what I'm going to do. On the grand theft, I'll revoke your bond and set it at $5,000. But on the driving while license suspended, I'm still not inclined to set a bond on that. Ms. George, can you give me a reason?
Turner, I can't tell if, I don't know if there's a way for us to see if he actually has a hardship. All I'll point to the fact that everything he's saying, again, is the same thing that was mentioned in the first arrest affidavit. And Your Honor, he is, again, although he may have that extensive history, one thing he does not have is any failures to appear, which is an indication he will in fact show up for court. He has consistent employment, so I just ask that since he is the sole provider, if you double or even set an even higher bond, more than double, I think that will be sufficient to get the point across and prevent any further driving other than if he has the hardship to work and to church, Your Honor.
All right, I'll revoke that one and set it at $10,000. You can't drive right now. Don't drive. Don't drive. All right, good luck, sir.
5011, the out on bond to Willows revoked is 10 grand.
Roy Simpson refused. 22 CF 5220. I'll appoint your office, Ms. George.
I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we got word from downstairs that Broward County wanted their, the VOP to be removed, so you won't have to,
On Mr. Simpson?
yes,
Okay, that's why it's gone.
yes.
All right. Are you waiting his appearance, counselor?
Yes, Your Honor, I will waive the appearance.
All right. There is probable cause. I'll set his bond at $1,000 on count 1, $500 on counts 2 and 3 each. Cannot possess or consume any controlled substance without a valid prescription or have contact with any known drug dealers. All right, I'm going to appoint your office in that case as well, Ms. George.
I will waive the appearance, Your Honor.
There is probable cause. 22 CF 5207. Hold on one moment. Bond is $5,000 on count 1, 100 on count 2, 150 on count 3, 1,000 on count 4, and 100 on count 5. No return to the scene, no weapons, firearms, or ammunition. Cannot possess or consume alcoholic beverages or any controlled substance without a valid prescription. Random drug and alcohol screens.
Your Honor, I'm sorry I missed the first 3 counts. Do you mind repeating?
Bond,
Yes, Your Honor.
5,000. And then 100, I don't remember.
You get 5,000?
100, 150, 1,000, and 100.
Thank you.
I knew Denise would know. All right.
Santiago.
Sir, you're here in 21 CF 5705 because a warrant was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for court. The judge has not authorized a bond on that capias. Sir, do you have an attorney representing you?
A public defender.
You already have the public defender? He does? All right, Mr. Woods, this is your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's a capias with no bond, so we can't change it. All right, good luck, sir. Stay in touch with your attorney. Is that it? Huh. Anything else before court is adjourned?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.